Welcome back to FutureDrive, the channel where we explore the future of gaming, technology, and everything in between. Today's video is going to be massive. We're talking about one of the strangest, most fascinating stories in Nintendo history. Something that disappeared in the 90s and is now returning with a futuristic twist. Yes, I'm talking about the Nintendo Virtual Boy. For those of you who remember the mid-90s, Virtual Boy was Nintendo's bold attempt to bring virtual reality into our homes. It was ambitious, it was weird, and honestly, it failed. But here's the twist. In 2025, Nintendo has officially announced that the Virtual Boy is making a comeback, redesigned as a brand new accessory for the Nintendo Switch and the upcoming Switch 2. And this isn't just nostalgia. This is Nintendo stepping back into VR and possibly changing the way we experience games in the next 5 years. Let's rewind for a second. The year is 1995. Nintendo is at the top of its game with the SNES, Game Boy, and a strong lineup of hits. But they wanted to innovate. Enter Gunpei Yokoi, the legendary creator behind the Game Boy. He believed that stereoscopic 3D could be the next frontier in gaming. The result was the Virtual Boy, a red and black headset that promised immersive 3D visuals without the need for glasses. Sounds exciting, right? Well, not quite. The Virtual Boy was bulky, uncomfortable, and the graphics were limited to harsh red and black wireframes. It wasn't truly virtual reality, more like a glorified 3D display. The console sold fewer than 800,000 units worldwide and was discontinued in less than a year. For decades, it was remembered as Nintendo's biggest failure. But here's the thing about Nintendo. They never really give up on an idea. Sometimes, they just wait for the technology and the market to catch up. Fast forward to September 2025. During a Nintendo Direct livestream celebrating Mario's 40th anniversary, Nintendo dropped a bombshell. The Virtual Boy is back. And this time, it's designed as an accessory for the Switch and Switch 2. There will be two versions: a plastic Virtual Boy headset, which looks almost identical to the original but updated for modern ergonomics. A cardboard version, similar to Nintendo Labo VR, for those who want a cheaper, entry-level experience. Both versions will let you slide in your Switch or Switch 2, turning them into modern-day VR devices. You'll be able to play a library of classic Virtual Boy games, re-released through the Nintendo Switch online subscription service. And get this, Nintendo has promised 14 games to start, including classics like Tetris, Mario Clash, Red Alarm, and more. Now, the games themselves are going to be part of the Nintendo Switch online subscription. This is a big deal, because Nintendo isn't just selling hardware, they're building an ecosystem. Imagine firing up your Switch 2, sliding it into the Virtual Boy headset, and instantly diving into a library of retro VR games. And this isn't just about nostalgia. Nintendo confirmed that these games will be optimized for modern play, meaning smoother frame rates, better lenses, and less strain on the eyes. In other words, it's Virtual Boy, as it was always meant to be experienced. So why does this matter? Because Nintendo is finally putting its foot back into VR, and they're doing it their own way. Not by competing directly with PlayStation VR 2, Meta Quest 3, or Apple Vision Pro, but by offering something nostalgic, affordable, and family-friendly. This isn't the first time Nintendo has played with VR and AR. Back in 2019, they released Nintendo Labo VR, a cardboard kit that let players build their own VR goggles and play mini-games. It was quirky, fun, and very Nintendo. Before that, the Nintendo 3DS had a stereoscopic 3D screen without glasses. And let's not forget the Mario Kart AR ride at Universal Studios, which uses AR visors to create an immersive racing experience. What this shows us is that Nintendo has always been curious about immersive technology. They just haven't gone all in like Sony or Meta. Instead, they test the waters, see what sticks, and wait for the right moment. And that moment might just be now. If we compare this to the competition, the differences become clear. PlayStation VR 2 is a powerhouse with high-resolution displays and advanced motion tracking. Meta Quest 3 is standalone, wireless, and built for the metaverse. Apple Vision Pro is ultra-premium, blending AR and VR at a price that makes most gamers cry. Nintendo, they're not chasing specs, they're chasing fun, accessibility, and nostalgia. For them, VR doesn't need to be the most powerful. It just needs to be engaging, social, and uniquely Nintendo. That's their edge. And honestly, that's what might make the Virtual Boy revival work. All right, let's look beyond just the Virtual Boy revival, because while this announcement is exciting, it's also just the beginning. The real story here is where VR and gaming are headed in the next 5 years. From 2026 to 2031, we're going to see a revolution in how we play, how we interact with games, and how games interact with us. And Nintendo, whether people expect it or not, could be one of the key players. In the first 2 years after launch, Nintendo will likely expand the Virtual Boy library on Switch Online. Right now, they've promised 14 games, but if history is any guide, that number could double or even triple. Imagine playing every classic Virtual Boy game with modern VR enhancements: Mario Clash, Wario Land, Nestor's Funky Bowling, Galactic Pinball. But it won't stop at retro. Expect indie developers to jump in and create new games built specifically for the Virtual Boy accessory. Just like how the Switch inspired a new wave of indie hits, VR on Switch 2 could open doors for creative, small-scale VR titles. By 2027, we're going to see a push toward hybrid AR and VR gaming. Companies like Apple are already showing how AR can overlay digital objects into the real world. Nintendo has a golden opportunity here. Imagine Pokémon Go 2.0, but in VR, or AR-enabled Mario Kart that lets you race through your living room with digital tracks projected on the floor. Switch 2 could also integrate external cameras or sensors, making it possible to blend the real and virtual seamlessly. This is where the nostalgia of Virtual Boy meets the innovation of augmented reality. Cloud gaming hasn't hit mainstream adoption yet, but by 2028, it could be the standard. Think about it. No more bulky headsets, no overheating consoles. You just stream your VR experience directly from the cloud. This is where companies like Nvidia, Microsoft, and even Amazon are investing heavily. Nintendo might not build its own cloud system, but partnerships are possible. Imagine Switch 2 tapping into a cloud-based service for high-end VR worlds, even if the hardware itself isn't powerful enough. This could make VR accessible to millions more players. Now, let's talk AI. Because by 2030, AI won't just be behind the scenes, it will be the game. NPCs, non-playable characters, will no longer feel scripted. Instead, they'll think, react, and adapt to you in real time. Imagine talking to a shopkeeper in a Zelda game, and instead of repeating the same dialogue, they actually respond to your choices, your voice, your playstyle. Nintendo could integrate AI into its VR experiences, making classic franchises like Mario, Zelda, and Metroid feel more alive than ever before. And this won't just be fun, it'll be revolutionary. By 2031, VR won't just be about visuals. It'll be about feeling. Haptic suits, gloves, and even neural feedback systems are being tested right now. Imagine reaching out to grab a coin in Mario VR and actually feeling the vibration in your hand, or the ground shaking beneath you as Bowser stomps into the arena. Wireless headsets will be lighter, sleeker, and cheaper. AR and VR will merge into what some call mixed reality, creating experiences that are indistinguishable from real life. And guess what? Nintendo could deliver this in a way that's fun, family-friendly, and, most importantly, affordable. So what does all this mean for gaming culture? For one, nostalgia is now a growth strategy. Companies are realizing that revisiting the past can be just as profitable as inventing the future. The Virtual Boy comeback proves this. It's not just about reviving old games. It's about reimagining them for a new generation. We'll see parents who grew up in the 90s sharing Virtual Boy experiences with their kids. Esports could expand into VR arenas, where players physically move and interact instead of just using controllers. Social gaming will become more immersive, with friends hanging out in VR spaces instead of Zoom calls or Discord chats. And who knows? Maybe 5 years from now, we'll be watching Mario VR tournaments on Twitch, cheering as if it were the World Cup. To wrap it up, Nintendo's decision to bring back the Virtual Boy is more than just fan service. It's a statement. It shows that Nintendo is ready to re-enter the VR conversation, not by competing head-on with Sony, Meta, or Apple, but by doing what they do best, making gaming fun, accessible, and unforgettable. From 2026 to 2031, we'll see VR evolve from a niche to a necessity. And while no one knows exactly how the future will play out, one thing is certain. Nintendo has once again reminded us that the past and future of gaming are deeply connected. This has been FutureDrive, your guide to the future of gaming and technology. What do you think about the Virtual Boy revival? Will you be picking up the new headset for your Switch or Switch 2? And more importantly, what kind of VR games do you want Nintendo to make in the next 5 years? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your ideas. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more deep dives into the future of gaming, and share it with a friend who loves Nintendo. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep playing, and keep looking forward. Because the future of gaming is closer than you think.